So here's the honest truth. 2 months into my first outpatient job, I already wanted out. Not because I didn't love being a physical therapist, but because I couldn't stand how care was being delivered. I was juggling 15 to 19 patients a day, fighting with insurance over what my patient actually needed, and getting told I couldn't even work weekends because on some random policy. That's when I knew I needed to create something different. And somehow, one random email changed everything. Even before I started PT school, I had a gut feeling the insurance and admin side of healthcare would be frustrating. And sure enough, a couple months into working full-time in outpatient ortho, that feeling turned into reality. I realized I can't do this for the rest of my life. The days were long, I was working 10-hour shifts, seeing on an average of 15 patients. But honestly, a lot of the time, I could be seeing 16, 18, sometimes even 20 patients a day. And it wasn't like I could give each person my full attention. I was juggling 2, sometimes 3 people at a time, bouncing from one person to the next, trying to keep up with the productivity numbers that didn't reflect actual care. At one point, I asked my boss if I could open up on Saturday or come in on Saturday. We were overwhelmed, we had a lot of patients coming in, and I figured it could help. I just graduated, I have a lot of time, so I was like, why not come in for a few hours so I could at least offload some of the load for the week. He kind of laughed and said, no one wants to come in on a Saturday, then mentioned that therapists can't be alone in the clinic. We'd need a front desk person and another clinician to be present there. Why? No real reason, just policy. That was the moment I realized this system isn't built for patients or providers. Then one day, completely randomly, I was checking my university email. I hadn't touched that inbox since graduation, but for some reason, I opened it. And there it was, a job posting. I remember the flyer vividly. It said something like, be your own boss, make your own hours, set your own rates. It felt like it was written for me. I sent my resume through LinkedIn and never heard back. So I reached out to the gym owner directly, like I needed to make a change. And that one message changed everything. A huge part of why I started to step away from the traditional clinical model was insurance. It never made sense to me, still does not make sense to me, that someone who has never seen or treated my patient is telling me what I can and cannot do with my patient. I had to constantly justify treatment plans, go through repetitive peer reviews, and deal with visit limits that had nothing to do with the patient. The billing structure was just as frustrating. The longer someone stayed on the caseload, the more money the clinic made. So there was always this quiet pressure to keep people in care longer. Not because they needed it, but because it paid more. That never sat right with me. In 2025, this year, I transitioned to part-time, thinking a later workload was gonna help. But the reality didn't change. In just a 6-hour day, I'm still seeing 10 to 15 patients, back to back, often overlapping. Same chaos, same system, just fewer hours on paper. That's when it really hit me. It's not about how many hours you work, it's about how broken the model is. So now, while I still work part-time at a clinic, I'm also building something of my own. A cash-based practice where I can treat people one-on-one, no insurance middlemen, no quotas, no arbitrary rules, just real intentional care. Focus on the person in front of me. And every time I step into that space I'm building, I'm reminded this is how care should feel. Focused, human, on our terms. I didn't make this shift to rebel against the system. I did it because I couldn't keep compromising on what I believe was right for myself or for my patients. Because I believe care should be about people, not numbers. And I wanted to create a space where I could actually do that. It's not the easy route, but it's honest, it's sustainable for now. But more importantly, it's mine. And every session, every step forward reminds me this is the work I was meant to do.